the questions that people ask sometimes, and I thought it's best just to address it. So why are the best quality veneers expensive? So these are our veneers. This is a picture of the laboratory work that's being carried out by a ceramist in California. So all our veneers are made in California. We have a master ceramist who does them by hand, and he's been working with me for the last 15 years, and we only do cases together. I don't do any other cases with anyone else because he's a master, and we work really well together, and when you have a winning formula, you don't change it. So these are his veneers. This is he's doing some design work on these veneers. These are made on platinum 4, but just look at the detail in the ceramic work. This is why we're showing this. It's a full mouth case, but this is the detail in the ceramic work. So this is all handmade. There's no machine usage here. It's all handmade feldspathic veneers. It's a dying art. Very few people do it because it takes time, it takes a lot of skill, and people who do it are like real masters, and they're really passionate about doing it in this way. So this is a picture of the case on a model without the before, but just look at this beautiful texture, translucency, and this is what we do. Now obviously when you're looking at people's work, these are the sort of things that we would look at more. I know patients are not so looking for all of these factors that we are. The texture, the level of detail, the difference in colour, the contrast in colour, the chroma, the thickness, all of these are things that we're looking at. Graduation in colour. So we're looking at so many different things. And the real masters and the people who are doing really beautiful work around the world are generally using feldspathic ceramics to get that really stunning effect. Emax. Now a lot of people use Emax. We do some Emax work, but posteriorly. For anterior teeth, we always do feldspathic. The Emax cannot look like this. It's just not possible unless you really layer it. And even if you layer it, it still doesn't look as good as feldspathic, in my opinion. So people who are doing Emax, great, fine, but it doesn't look like feldspathic. And if you look at the top guys around the world, Dr. Duval, Dr. Appa, these dentists are all doing feldspathic ceramics. They're not doing Emax because these materials are really special in terms of creating that colour. You can create unbelievable colour doing this. So this is the kind of stuff that's out there. Piano keys, we call them. I mean, look at this, it's horrible. It's monochromatic, no texture, one colour, and unfortunately some people like this. We don't. This is not the type of work we would ever do. And it's just a block pool, so this is some other work. This is probably Emax. This is how unfortunately Emax can look. It's not very nice. There's no texture, there's no translucency, it's very blocky. And again, it's not ceramic work that we would ever do. It's in the long term, when you do cases like this and you have teeth preparation, it will cost you more money because the cases that we do with no preparation or hardly any sort of tooth touching, even if we're replacing the case, we'd expect it to last 15, 20 plus years generally. Because I've been doing this for 15 years, I've not replaced one case. Yes, I've replaced some veneers because they're fractured or whatever, someone's bitten on a fork, or it happens. But on very, very few teeth that would happen, and you certainly shouldn't have to replace a whole case. People change cases because of the change of colour and such, but with feldspathic, the tissue generally loves feldspathic, so the tissue response is great. We don't get major recession unless there's an other issue going on. So you shouldn't have to change them very often at all. And this is another case. You can see, again, ceramics, very blocky, probably Emax. Again, this just looks very artificial. There's no natural texture, translucency. Look at the difference in the case that we did. This is the type of case that comes in, and we changed it. We put translucent texture on it, makes it look much better. Same thing here. So it's just to kind of give you an understanding as to why we do feldspathic. Why is it expensive? It's expensive because it's all handmade and it's done by a master ceramist. So you have to pay for that. his time essentially to build it. Whereas if you're doing machine-made cases, yes, you can do them much quicker, but you don't get the same results. So we focus on the quality of the product in terms of how it's designed and made, rather than volume.